6 weeks have passed and the Raid Shadow Legends Challenge versus Godly has concluded. I lost badly. Today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Use my link in the description down below or scan the QR code you see on screen and start your journey with a legendary champion, Karato. So let me start things off by saying I can explain, though not really. I got excuses, but yeah. The first ever Raid face-off challenge between Godly and Mogwai. We, ladies and gentlemen, got absolutely demolished. These are the final scores of the 6-week challenge. Godly ends up at 298,000 points, and we failed to hit 120,000. This is almost like he almost got like triple the points that we have. And I'm gonna explain like why this discrepancy is a thing, right? Because there were some big challenges that I just left until the very last moment and just, you know, got extremely punished because of that. So when it comes to the campaign, we actually did not fall that far behind. Like Godly ended up at 33,000, we ended up at 31,000. We'll go over what exactly that means. But basically there were 4 different difficulty modes. And the first 3 were relatively easy to get through, but the final one, the Nightmare difficulty, especially with the particular requirements within the challenge regarding the campaign, that's where neither of us actually completed it. And though Godly did fail a little bit less than me in that regard, but you know, we're close here. Then we go to the dungeons and things don't look as pretty. Both of us were able to complete Minotaur's Labyrinth, as you can see here. But when it comes to the Dragon's Lair, Spider's Den, Ice Golem's Peak, and the Fire Knight's Castle, every single one of them, Godly was able to outmatch us. The one that we got closest to them in was actually the Fire Knight's Castle, because I had a lineup that actually matched up pretty damn well into it. But god damn, like I hit a wall in every single one of these, and Godly just absolutely broke through. Even then, the discrepancy is not still that big to justify him having triple the points. The problem is when we factor in the $20 million boss, $20 million, the 20 million boss damage. This provides Godly with 75,000 points. And I left this, I just hard focused on the campaign and the dungeons, and I left this for later. And as you guys can see, got completely hard punished for this. When it comes to the community, Godly's community ended up with a 5,000 point advantage. Now, I would love nothing more than to blame this disaster on you guys. That would remove agency from me and guilt, and it would be honestly the best solution ever. But I can't really do that because we were actually winning here for the first 3 weeks. But then I think my loss of morale carried over. Like in my streams, I was running into walls. I just could not advance with my lineup as it was, and I think this disillusionment carried over to my audience, and they just kind of like stopped trying as well, and I can't blame them because I was just not getting through what I needed to get through, man. And it ended up being a 5,000 point differential, and you know, in the grand scheme of things, that let's just say that wasn't very relevant in the end. What was relevant was the fact that Godly's clan was able to kill the Demon Lord on brutal difficulty. This net him another 75,000 points. So now you start to make more sense of this big difference, right? Godly has 150,000 points from both of these challenges that he overcame. So if it weren't for them, Godly would be sitting up at like basically less than a 15,000 lead on me. So the discrepancy would have not been as ridiculous. It's just the 20 million boss damage challenge and the clan challenge. That's where he got us. And while the clan challenge is a combination of me and the community, it's completely on me. I did not focus on talking about this as much as I should have. I was tunnel visioning into the dungeons and the campaign. And I was like, I'll do the clan stuff later. And that was beyond foolish of me. And that's really ultimately what was the nail in the coffin. And now we're going to go on to the game and actually just like talk about you know, how my champion lineup ended up being, what our tactic was, why we ended up doing so well in the first 3 weeks, but then just completely fell off for the other 3. You know, what happened? Let's talk about it. All right, let's head on over to Raid Shadow Legends and go over all the things. So first of all, this is my champion lineup right here. In the first 3 weeks, I was able to call an experienced Raid Shadow Legends player who gave me some very, very key tips regarding what kind of team, what kind of champions I should be prioritizing and focusing on. And ladies and gentlemen, meet the MVP of my squad, Sun Wukong, completely maxed out at level 60, 6 stars, and the stars being pink means it's also upgraded the rank as well, because the initial color of the stars is actually yellow. So fully maxed out leveled Sun Wukong with a complete mastery system as well, which I net decked because, you know, this information is available in hellhades.com. Very good site that offers resources for this. The key thing is this was my best champion, and yet I still could have made him a lot better. He was my main damage healer. This guy revives himself with his unbeatable Wukong passive ability or skill. The most complex, in my opinion, the most complex aspect of this game is the artifact system. It's through artifacts, leveling up those artifacts to max as well, which you are able to really take the overall stat lineup of your champion to the next level, essentially. All these green pluses represent what the artifacts are providing to for each stat. So greatly enhancing my HP, providing me with more attack than Wukong's actual attack stat. As you can see here, we had some really good things going on for this. Like the thing is, every single champion requires for you to prioritize different stats depending on the champion's role, right? Sun Wukong was my main hitter. Rector Drath and Ugo were my support champions. They were meant to heal my units, inflict status on the enemy, and just keep my team alive, essentially. I would say effectively and essentially at the same time, and I just kind of started there. Another one of my heavy hitters was Kael, which is one of the starting champions. Nubs Kex, which was the guy who was helping me out, recommended me prioritizing him at the beginning. Really good champion, as early on in the game, poison skills are not really common, right? And this guy really put in the work for the vast majority of, like, you know, for the beginning, until he just kind of felt a little bit weak later down the line, unfortunately. And then Cold Heart was like my tech. Cold Heart is not particularly impressive regarding bulk defense, not the fastest either, and she doesn't really hit that hard. What really stands out with Cold Heart, her being a rare champion also, she was like, alongside Kill, she was like my lower rarity champion of my lineup. But what really makes her stand out is her Heartseeker attack, her skill. This attack is very, very good against dungeon bosses, as I can essentially, as a dungeon boss has built up his turn meter and is ready to attack, I can undo all that progression and force him to start all over again, slowing them down significantly and also dealing a lot of damage, because dungeon bosses have extremely high HP stats. So damage increases according to enemies' max HP, allows Heartseeker to deal an insane amount of damage, which it doesn't really initially make sense given her stats, but it makes her a very, very good dedicated counter. Also for the Fire Knight dungeon boss, who had a shield that I had to ping 10 times, her flurry of arrows would allow me to do so 4 times within one sole attack. So she became an integral piece of the puzzle. I can't even English. And was very important, even though she was very frail and was lackluster when facing non-boss-like champions or enemies. Sorry. So let's take a look at our progress, right? Like regarding the campaign, this is what we had to do. So there were 4 difficulties: normal, hard. You guys can see it right here. I can take my webcam out for just a second. You guys can see brutal and nightmare. Okay, so I completed the campaign fully in the first 3 difficulties, but once we reached nightmare is when nightmare ensued. This was where things got extremely difficult because I don't just have to complete the campaign. I have to complete the campaign in 3 stars. So if you click on like a battle here, for example, you see that in order to obtain 3 stars on the stage, you can only fight with 2 or fewer champions, and you cannot end the fight with either champion being knocked out. That makes things really difficult, particularly in the nightmare difficulty, as I really struggled, especially once, like, from the very beginning, things were really hard, but slowly but surely, I was able to beat these different stages up until stage 8. It's particularly Valdemar Strait stage 3 is where I could not advance any further. And I still had stages like 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 to complete. The good thing is Gosli also was not able to complete the campaign. It's not like he finished it. Otherwise, he would have had a tremendous amount of points. I think Gosli, according to the points, probably completed stages 8 and 9 and got stuck in stage 10. So he did like fail less than me, but he failed as well. So that makes me... That brings a little bit of joy into this misery. As the dungeons were essentially around these 5 different dungeon bosses, like I mentioned in the other video. The Minotaur's Labyrinth, the Ice Golem's Peak, the Spider's Den, the Dragon's Lair, and the Fire Knight's Castle. So the Minotaur's Labyrinth was actually pretty easy. It was by far the easiest one, and both Gosli and I were able to fully complete it relatively early on within the challenge. But then this was a different story. All the other 4 dungeon bosses had a total of 25 stages. And when it comes to the Ice Golem's Peak, I could not defeat stage 19. The same goes for the Dragon's Lair. I got stuck in the exact same segment. The Spider's Den is arguably the most difficult one. I got stuck at stage 15 in this one. And the Fire Knight's Castle, which is where we got closer to Gosli, we got stuck in stage 18. So things were going really smoothly. The first 3 weeks, the point gap between Gosli and I was 1,000, sometimes less than 1,000. It was just super close. But then I just reached the point where my artifact optimization was just not there, and I think I should have branched out into other champions as well. And the big aspect also is the clan boss, right? Like the clan boss, the demon lord, this was a lot of points, 75,000 points to complete it in brutal difficulty. And I just left that for the last. Like, I was so hyper fixated on the campaign and the dungeons that I kind of like even forgot about this. And then all of a sudden, Gosli had 75,000 points, and I just, I was like, whoa. I probably should not have let that happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? So yeah, things that I learned. I should probably have expanded my champion lineup. I should have focused on maxing out champions like Genzen, who could provide me with great utility. Because if I had more of a diverse lineup of champions, I could have designed specific teams, because every single dungeon boss is actually quite different. The strategy is very different. Like speed, for example, is very important for the Fire Knight, but actually potentially a detriment against the Ice Golem. Right? Against the Spider, it's important to have good AoE and ways to slow down the Spider from attacking, so that you can actually clear the Spider, so the Spider doesn't just like heal up by eating its own offspring. It's a very, yeah, she just like breeds all these spiders and then eats them to stay alive. It's pretty disgusting. And I just tried to beat all of them with the same lineup of 5 champions that I tried to just continue to optimize, but the artifact system is where things became daunting for me. There's just a lot of things to factor in. Not every champion, like I mentioned, wants the same prioritization of stats. Like sometimes, you know, like for example, KO wants more accuracy. We put a lot of accuracy on him. He wants more critical rate. He's an offensive aspect, right? But then champions like Rector Drath and Ugo are different. But Ugo also wants to be really fast, because Ugo has an AoE skill that allows you to decrease the defense of enemies by 60%, so really weakening them to be able to follow that up. So leading off with Ugo as an attack is really important. So every champion requires specific stats to prioritize, And that's where things got particularly complicated. And I was really enjoying like learning the process, but I also felt the time constraint of the challenge, right? At the end of every week, I had to, you know, try to beat Gosling that week by getting more things done. And I kind of just like I got a little bit stubborn with things, and I tried to just really like, there has to be a way to beat this dungeon. And I wasted a lot of time doing that when I should have just like really sat down and learned the theory of things and understand why my champions were underperforming, perhaps why my team was underperforming. But as a new player, it was also quite the daunting challenge. And in hindsight, I should have sought out for help more. I failed to do that and definitely paid the consequences. But what I really enjoyed about this journey, what I really enjoyed about this challenge was learning just how deep Raid Shadow Legends is as a game. Before the sponsorship, I didn't really know much about Raid Shadow Legends prior. And understanding that this game has tremendous depth, but also is quite intuitive to get into from the beginning, right? Like, it's not crazy stuff happening at the beginning. Like, you can follow what's going on. But if you want to really optimize your lineups, if you want to take your team to the next level, if you want to be able to play versus players, there's a lot of optimization that you need to learn. And there are great resources for that. You know, if you're not a stubborn idiot like me, you'll just jump into that immediately and understand, okay, what every champion needs. And there's a lot of nuance within the artifact system specifically. As frustrating as this aspect was for me because of my shortcomings, there's just a lot to learn. It's a game so rich in strategy, tactics. Like, there's just a lot, and it can be extremely rewarding in the long run. And that's basically what I got out of it. Like, it was a really fun journey, like especially being able to overcome certain stages, finding ways to optimize my team, and doing so felt extremely rewarding. And it was really fun. It was really fun. Like, even though it was spread out over 6 weeks, like, the challenge was just a great ride. Even though we failed miserably, okay? I'll admit it as many times as you want. We failed miserably. It was awful. It was still quite an experience, and I'm very grateful to have been offered the opportunity to be a part of it. And I'm sorry that I let you guys down. But, you know, I learned a lot, and if I ever have an opportunity to do it again, I'll tackle it with a more level-headed approach. But I really want to thank Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring us for these 6 weeks during this challenge. Again, super grateful for the opportunity, and I want to thank you guys for all the support. You guys were really into the challenge, and a lot of you who were more experienced players gave me some really key feedback that I wish I could have like used better, but that is completely on me. And yeah, if you guys want to check out Raid Shadow Legends, check out you see that QR code at the beginning. You can just scan it and download the game through that link, or a link in the description down below and the pinned comment that I'll be leaving there as well. Downloading will give you access to Kerato, a legendary champion. You'll be able to get him for free, and you'll be able to dabble into Raid Shadow Legends and help support the channel. So again, thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for the sponsorship. This has been an absolute journey, and it's a shame to see it come to an end. But I had an absolute blast, even if it was just getting my butt handed to me. Like, oh God, like, that was the hard aspect of making this video. Just to be like, hey, I got absolutely obliterated. Let's talk about why. But it was a really fun ride. Thank you guys for watching. Have a soul day. Hope you enjoyed the journey, and I'll see you around.